hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. Things have changed slightly around the Marina Bay circuit. 4 corners have been taken out, the lap length reduced to just over 3 miles. That might be a welcome relief to the drivers, might be even more of a relief for their brakes. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Kamui Kobayashi lines up on pole position, and the captain completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, Russell, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Ocon, Stroll, Albon, Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Joe, Helga, Bottas, and Logan Sargent. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Welcome to Driving Immersion. This is the immersive racing experience. We drive full-length races in full simulation from the driver's cockpit with a Fanatec force feedback wheel and load cell pedal set. We have the full grid of cars with all of the skill and talent of the drivers and all of the weather that is set in the game. This is the full career season in Formula One. Before we go on, give us a like and click on subscribe and let us know how you enjoyed the race. It gets our channel out to other race fans like you. In addition, you'll be notified when the next race is available. Our content is on Facebook in HD and on YouTube in Ultra HD. Now let's go.
Be up to other things that they do, but these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
Welcome to Singapore, the setting for the first nighttime race in Formula One. As far back as 2008, you can see here that Singapore set the bar for lighting the track as it is light as day. It is also rated as a difficult track for the complex turns and straights that we'll experience. Here is our 2-stop strategy for this race, beginning with 2 medium tires and finishing the race with a set of the hard tires, and hopefully we'll have enough tire at the end. We are going to set our fuel here for just 5.5 extra laps of fuel. Now it is going to be a dry race as it is forecasted, so we do expect that we will be running fast for most of the race. Our setup here for the race is from Sim Racing Setups, also here on YouTube, and you can check them out. But here our preference is to have a little bit more air in the tires as we prefer endurance, so our sliders here are usually somewhere near the middle. If you're watching this and you've raced a full-length race in full simulation here in Formula One, let us know how you adjusted your tire pressures in the comments below to get the best longevity out of your tires. Here we are back to the grid, and we are starting off again in P2 next to our teammate who beat us out by about a half a second, so that's quite a lot here. But again, Singapore is a complex track as we head down into turn 1 here to the left, turn 2 to the right, turn 3 very slow here to the left, and then turn 4 a very slight kink again, continuing on to the left. Turn 5 here we turn in at the light box, a 5th gear right-hander, and that's going to open up into our first DRS zone into turn 6 here around the curve to the right. Coming into turn 7, we're going to brake very hard again at the light box on the fence. Ride the curbs as we exit out. Brake again at the light box into turn 8. It does have a very wide exit, so you can let the car drift a little bit to the left. Turn 9 here, and we are going to again let it drift out to the right as we exit out. Turn 10 opens a very slow section of the track. Turn 11 here to the right very quickly and sweeping back to the left into turn 12. Turn 13, a very slow left-hander. We're going to bring that down to 2nd gear, maybe 3rd gear if we are fast enough. Out to turn 14, again a very sharp right-hander, but it does have a wide exit, and it's going to open up here turn 15 here to the left, and this is where we normally turn right and add another 4 corners. But again, with the new track configuration in 2023, it is a straight into a DRS zone under the bridge to continue on to the original track, and this is 16 and 17. Tap the brakes very lightly here as we're going to touch the curb onto the left, and that is turn 18. Turn 19 here again to the left as we exit out onto the pit straight.
1-2 start for the driving immersion team.
Into our spot on the grid.
Park in there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
Red lights off, and we are on the go for the Singapore Grand Prix. So the driving immersion team here starting off 1-2, and that is how we are going to continue on.
Very good start for Kamui.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Fantastic.
So we are starting this race with a relatively worn engine. I believe we have 4 races into it already, and our wear is up to about 58%. Now that should still be a lot of life.
A lot more understeer with this set of yellows.
Again, another one of those weekends where we spend more time on the reds instead of the yellows, as we are only afforded 2 sets of yellows for the weekend. Here we are on board with Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, watching the 2 driving immersion teammates, Mars Medina and Kamui Kobayashi, in the lead as we come into 16 and 17 under the bridge. Left into 18 and 19 into the DRS zone, which is not available as this is the first lap. On board here with Mars Medina, we are taking advantage of all the curbs here at Singapore. It is a fairly wide open track, even though we have barriers to our left and right all the way around. The curbs here are very forgiving. Coming in through turn 7 and now turn 8. The 66 of Mars Medina has gotten around his teammate.
Good jump.
Approaching turn 14 here. The 2 cars are very close. And if the 66 is going to have a chance to win this race, he is going to have to be in front of the number 75 of Kamui Kobayashi. Now Kobayashi is a half a second faster than the 66. You can see here that
Tyre condition still looking good.
the lap times are being set. Charles Leclerc having the fastest lap right now, and he is in 3rd place. So perhaps the Ferrari will have a good race this time around at Singapore.
Okay, we need surgical laps.
As we are in front of Kamui Kobayashi, we are going to have to set very good consistent laps here. Again, a very difficult place to pass here at Singapore, and if you are to pass, it has to be at a very fortuitous place. There are a few DRS zones which will be very good for passing, but a lot of the tight turns are very nearly impossible to get around. Here we are over the bridge. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are very close. That should be Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. I see a couple of Mercedes in the background as well. There is the exit out of 14, again, very wide.
We are due in on lap 20.
Turn 8, a very sharp right. As we exit out of turn 9, again approaching turn 10, the very slow part of the track. Not a lot of room here, so you're going to have to use a lot of the curbs. Onto a DRS zone. Into turn 16 and 17 once again under the bridge. And now we start lap 5 of 61 laps. This is turn 3 as 5 cars are nose to tail at the head of the race. There is our leaderboard, again with the 2 driving immersion cars in the lead, with a Ferrari in 3rd place. Verstappen, Norris, Russell, and Hamilton. Good to see the Mercedes in the race this time around. Coming into turn 10 again from the T-cam of Charles Leclerc, we get to see the very tight section here after turn 10. Again, riding all the curbs as much as you can. Very slow left-hander as we exit out. Here is turn 14 once again. Very wide apron to the left. We accelerate out into full speed. This is a DRS zone. Back on board with Mars Medina. That is turn 16, 17, 18, and 19. Right now our teammate is only 0.2 seconds behind, so definitely very close, definitely within DRS range, and so are a number of cars. And you'll see here as we go down the straight, we're going to need to eventually take advantage of our ERS just to avoid being swept around. And from the crane up above, you can see that the track is very well lit. Now we do have a couple of other night races here now in Formula 1. since the start here in 2008. But this is still the best well-lit track out of all of the nighttime races. And this is on board with Kamui Kobayashi. That is the number 66 of Mars Medina in the driving immersion up ahead. Now, a lot of the Formula One races that occur on this side of the planet will happen usually in the afternoon, early evening, or late at night in order to broadcast live onto the audience in Europe for Formula One, as it is the biggest audience for Formula One. But here it's also broadcast at night as it is cooler. And right now the ambient temperature is about 77, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is fairly cool here for Singapore.
A little bit late on the exit.
So again, we are watching very good consistent laps here out of the 66, and that is going to be just enough to keep us ahead of our teammate Kamui Kobayashi in second place just behind. You can see the Ferrari is also very close, so any little mistake will certainly bring up those other cars to compete. But right now these good consistent laps are going to keep us in front. There's no need to set the record, even though we now have the fastest lap. It is still quite unclear how long these tires are going to last. We do have them set for 20 laps, and that is well within the limitations here of the medium tires. Now for F124, we've rarely seen the soft tires in a race. I think Austria is the only one that we use them sparingly. I think we put on 2 sets.
So right now we are actually trying to be kind to our tires. And we are not downshifting as far as we should. There is a lot of wear on this engine, and we don't really want it to expire. So we are saving up our revs.
Yeah, so if you've ever driven a full-length race here in Formula One, you certainly don't want the car to expire out of wear. And so we are trying to conserve the tires and the engine as well. This is 61 laps on a 3-kilometer course, or 3-mile course.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
That is our teammate once again.
There's a lot of understeer into turn 1.
Very close in tow, as he's got a lot of speed with his DRS available, but again, not enough. Out of turn 9 once again. And out of turn 10, we will want to keep the car pointed to the left, as you're going to have to be very wide to the left to come around turn 11.
Understeer.
So that is the very tight corner of turn 13. If your tires are a little too hot from coming out of the slow section, you'll not have a lot of grip to come through, and the wall there obviously is not very forgiving. And that time around, we just made it through with a lot of understeer, but we were able to keep the car from hitting the wall. From the back of the number 66, you can see here again that the field is still very close. Exit out of 19 to cross the start-finish line once again. And we are starting off in lap 11. This is the number 66 in the lead here at the Singapore Grand Prix. A brief look at the skyline and the sky. We can see that it is partly cloudy. This cityscape is very populated and very well lit again. A lot of modern structures here in Singapore. And there you got to see that we tried to get off the racing line as Kamui.
Trying not to get into the situation or I will knock off his front wing once again.
Yes, we're trying to get off the racing line so that Kamui cannot get a pull from the 66. He does have his DRS available in the DRS zone, so he does have the speed advantage. And so we don't want to be towing him through the DRS zones, obviously. There is the very big and tall Ferris wheel in the background, and that can be seen from almost anywhere here on the track. Underneath the flyovers here in Singapore.
Just about 25% of the race done.
So yes, again, the laps are long here in Singapore, but there is a lot of work as there are a lot of braking, turning, and acceleration. And there are a couple of good straights, but not enough to get any rest. So continuously shifting and turning and braking, accelerating. Again, on a very long race. Coming out of turn 5, we can see now that Kamui is fading back just a little bit. It's very possible that his tires may be going. Again, when you are very close to someone in the back, in order to keep your car on the racing line, it does take more work for the tires as you have less downforce available to you. So if you are going to pass the car in front, you need to do it
Very high over the curb that time.
very quickly.
Probably doesn't pay to do that. Probably squeezed off a little too much throttle on that exit.
So 13 laps completed. We quickly got around our teammate Kamui Kobayashi, and we have been in the lead ever since. Right now, nobody posing a real challenge. We do have Kamui closely behind, but he is starting to fade away. You can see the Ferrari is also starting to fade away as the tires are going to start showing wear. Again, this is a calculation that we figure in, and that is why we have a little bit more air pressure in our tires so that they do last a little bit longer. And we do use our setups coming out of sim racing setups here on YouTube just because we have so many races throughout the season and we are trying to complete a full season. There's just not enough time to set up the car and try to figure it out ourselves. You can race with the presets, but then you have to lower the difficulty in order to be able to keep up with the field. Here in our career, we are trying to increase the difficulty with every win in the season, and so as our difficulty goes up, the more complex or complicated are the setups to set up for the race.
Very difficult track to pass.
And we have been very successful in the last 6 or 7 races using sim racing setups for the race. In addition, there's also been a lot of research and development and upgrade in the parts here for the Driving Immersion Team, and we are right now ahead of the rest of the field in the season and the career when it comes to drivetrain, so that's the engine and transmission. I believe we are right in the middle as far as our aerodynamics, but we are ahead of most. And that stands the same for the chassis as well. If you are in the career mode, there are 4 segments or 4 characteristics of the car in the season that you need to address. And that is the aerodynamics, the chassis, the drivetrain, which is the motor and the hybrid power plant, and then there's the durability. The durability actually came in pretty easy, as earlier in the season it's very affordable to set up durable parts and their longevity, but I think the second easiest part is the powertrain, as they are also very inexpensive, and you do very well in the practice programs that gain you resource points. You can build that up very quickly, but it is the aerodynamics and the chassis that are going to be a little bit more complicated, as they do not address directly how fast the car is going to go. Obviously, aerodynamics and the chassis are going to be based on your driving ability as well as the setup for the race in order to come up with any kind of success. And again, if you have driven a career season here in Formula One, let us know how you have come along, if you have experienced the same thing. And that is probably one of the greatest parts of the simulation here in Formula One.
It's time to utilize some of this energy. Come on.
As a lot of the race and a lot of your winning season are going to be based on research and development and building the car as the season goes on. There's another part that we didn't mention yet, and that is the ability to develop the second driver. And that will also help to gain resource points for the team.
About the tire condition for now. Everything's looking good.
It also helps to get the team up to getting more sponsorship money, which is very important for buying parts and doing development. Also for upgrading the team as far as the pits, as far as the factory. And right now there is no other racing sim that's able to do any of that. let alone put together a full season. And that is one of the reasons why we drive here in Formula 1. As you can see, the rest of the field is starting to fade back. The number 66 putting in consistent laps is getting away with the race. We are now out of the DRS zone with Kamui Kobayashi. The timing shows 1.1 as far or as high as 1.4 earlier. So that is going to help us stay ahead. But yes, again, there is no other racing simulation that can do a season. And include all of the other characteristics that makes that series what it is. And having a look around the track, you can see here that Formula 1 is very detailed. The tracks that we drive throughout the season are very detailed, as they are in real life. The weather, the time changes, and so on, also very detailed. We don't think twice about them here in Formula 1. And in a lot of other racing sims, those have to be modded in order to be current or somewhat believable. But again, very well done here in the F1 series. We've got a fast lap going here into turn 7, 8, 9. Now the leaderboard shows that Kamui has the fastest lap right now as of lap 17 in this race. Also, having a look at the data on the steering wheel, you can see there that we do have plenty of fuel. And again, we have not changed much from what the pit crew usually recommends. There is a calculation in the practice strategies that you can use to calculate how much fuel is going to be used throughout the race. Most of the time that calculation is very good and it works, especially if it is a race held in the rain, as you are to save fuel. But here again, in the dry races, it's very hard to predict from that calculation in the practice program
Window, and you're going to be on mediums.
how much fuel we're actually going to use. Very wide here.
Big mistake there.
So it's very possible that the tires may also be going away for the number 66.
Missed shifts.
So on these long races, there's usually a little bit of fatigue carried into the race that you'll experience as a driver, and you got to see there that we had a missed shift and we got to brake very late into the turn. And again, it is here in Singapore a very complicated, very busy track with very few points on the track where you can actually rest mentally and physically.
Really, only 12%?
Yes, as we are on lap 19 and we are expected to come in at the end of lap 20, there's only 12% of tire wear on the rears, which is again very low. But here on our HUD showing is the wear on the internal combustion engine, and that is now up to 67%. I believe when we started the weekend it was 58. So again, a lot of wear here, and I believe in the next race weekend we are going to be using this engine as a practice engine and changing onto a new engine for the race during the practice sessions.
Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
We've had that fault almost every race this season.
Push now, we're boxing this lap.
There we are from turn 1 to turn 3. We can see that Kamui is still very close to the 66. Still within DRS range. So as we have managed to stay in front for right now, the race is still very close. And we will be coming in at the end of this lap to change out of this set of medium tires. So the pit stop strategies are going to start. And it's going to shake up the field. And right now, it is a very incident-free race. No yellows, no safety cars.
Speed.
I don't think we have two new mediums.
Yes, here we are into pit lane. We do start the weekend with only 2 sets of mediums, and we may have used one of them in one of the practice sessions. So either this set or the next set are used tires. And there we got to see that Max Verstappen came in as well. That will be Lando Norris just behind. And we're going to be able to stay in front of both cars here as we had a very good pit stop. Looking at the leaderboard, it looks like Kamui stayed out, obviously. Here is Lewis Hamilton exiting the pits. He's going to enter the track in 11th place.
So that is Verstappen, right behind us now. We come out in 8th place.
You might experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible.
You know Kamui's gonna try to pass us in the pits.
Yes, for the last 5 or 6 races, we've been setting very good pit stops with the number 66. Here is Kamui coming into the pits, but he's always managed to get by us just by the whisker of his chin. And we're going to try to see that here right now. Here he is. He stopped and he's changing out of his tires. Obviously, he has a similar pit stop strategy, which is going to be a 2-stop. And right now he is in 4th, projected 5th. And there is the number 66. And we are watching Russell here.
I think we did. Yes, we did. We beat him out of the pits.
This time around, we come out ahead of Kamui Kobayashi in the pits. Again, we did set a very fast
That never
pit stop.
So your ERS ERS is running a bit low. Look into changing your ERS mode in the MFD for a more conservative burn rate. Or you might want to try some lifting or...
So we got a communication there that there may be a problem with the ERS. That is the energy recovery system, and then that allows us to use a electrical boost in the drivetrain to allow the car to drive faster or go faster as we circle the track. And there can be a lot of things that can go wrong with that. Right now, with this 2024 car, we are using the kinetic and the heat to charge the batteries, which is a sum of the parts for the ERS. And the ERS usually keeps us ahead as we are in the lead, when we are in the lead, as we don't have the DRS available to us. So very important thing here to keep an eye on, but right now not any difficulty from any of the ERS parts. Again, according to the wear on the vehicle, they are still in very good shape and fairly new. I think this may be the third race for the kinetic or the heat of the MGU H or K. And we are watching here Yuki Tsunoda. He has not stopped yet, but he is ahead of the 66. We are watching him as we expect him to stop. Ahead of him, the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. And I think in the lead right now is Charles Leclerc. Yes, he is also in the Ferrari. So the Ferraris may be going for a one-stop. And that is definitely going to change the complexion of the race. So as we circle the track here, if you have one less stop, you could be saving yourself 25 to 35 seconds in the total of the race, obviously, which will account for the point where you finish in the race, and it could mean between first and second or last, depending on how many pit stops you have. We are riding here again with Kamui Kobayashi. That is the 66 just ahead. If you remember just a couple of laps ago, this is how they came out of the pit stops, the first round, and you can see here that Kamui with his DRS is available to get wheel to wheel with the 66.
Had to cover the inside. Kamui was there. He's getting racy.
Now there have been a lot of races where Kamui has actually knocked off his end plate on the front wing and he's able to continue. So we want to try to avoid that whole situation. He is our teammate. There's also a possibility that he could strike our car. And usually when you get struck from behind, a lot of the side body parts or the skirts on the car are damaged. You can see here there's nothing.
This does not feel like a new set of tires.
Because we did not collide with him. So here we are. This is our second set of mediums. Only 2 for the whole weekend. So when we used a set of the mediums during the practice session, that means that one of the 2 sets of the mediums that we use here for Singapore are going to have to be used. It may only be a matter of 5 or 6 laps, but again, it's still a used tire. And when we did put it on, when we came out of the pits, it does show as a 100% life set of tires, so they do show as new in the graphics, but again, they could drive totally differently. This is the first place car of Charles Leclerc.
Very messy, I'm sure.
And we are going to be watching him as we do expect him to come in anytime soon. If he is on a 2-stop, if he is on a single stop, it will be around lap 30, and certainly a set of mediums can go that long. So we are watching here to see how he does. And he is circling successfully around turn 13.
Pretty sure Leclerc is going for a one-stop.
Here we are coming through 18 and 19 with Charles Leclerc currently in the lead. He is going to continue on. He is obviously now on a one stop. Now the mandatory tires here are either a set of the mediums, which are the yellow tires, or a set of the hard tires. So he could still have a trick up his sleeve and continue on with a couple of sets of the soft tires if he's got them. But if he's going to lap until lap 30 on this set of mediums, he was going to need 2 sets of the softs. I believe the softs can go about 12 or 15 laps.
That Kamui is stuck like glue.
Here we are on board with the number 66 in P3 as the field has shaken out of the first set of pit stops. Again, the 2 Ferraris up ahead are going for a single stop. This is Lando Norris just behind Yuki Tsunoda. And a very good shakeout there for Yuki Tsunoda. Unfortunately, we are unable to see or predict his race strategy now at this point of the race. But he is definitely within the top 10.
Okay, so gap to the car ahead.
Here we are wheel to wheel with Lando Norris, Yuki Tsunoda, and Max Verstappen. They are obviously all racing for 5th place. And it looks like Lando has gotten ahead. Back to P3 and the number 66 driving immersion of Mars Medina. That is the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. In 2nd place. Now within sight. Now on board with the number 66 here, we are due for another pit stop. So obviously still very hard to predict the end of the race here with the Ferraris going for a single. It's very possible that if they do stay at this speed that they can stay ahead. But we can see here that the number 66 is getting closer and closer to Carlos Sainz. So the Ferraris may be losing time at this point. And we'll find out in about 5 or 6 laps.
Kamui is falling back.
Yes, lap 28 of 61. Kamui is now more than 2 seconds behind. Again, behind the wheel here of the number 66, we have been setting very good consistent laps. Not necessarily going for the fastest lap. And that has kept us faster than most of the others here in the race. Oh, very wide here out of 13 once again. A very complicated corner. And it looks like the number 66 of Mars Medina is now under the wing of the Ferrari. Still wheel to wheel here, coming out of 16 and 17.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
But now the 66 has gotten ahead. We are taking a look at Charles Leclerc, currently in the lead. He is 11 seconds ahead of P2. And right now we are waiting for the pit stops to occur and shake out. And only until then can we correctly predict who may be at the lead at the end of this race. If it was a case where the number 66 didn't have to stop again, Charles Leclerc certainly wouldn't win this race, as he will have to stop. But right now with the number 66, we have a second set of yellows. Even if we could try to finish the race with those second set of yellows, we do, per regulations, have to change out of those and put on a different set. Or a
So
different
right now,
compound.
Leclerc's tires are probably getting worn, and he is losing time.
Exiting out of turn 13. We are keeping an eye on the background as he exits out to see if we can see the number 66. The last time we checked, it was a matter of about 11 seconds. So right now, no view of the 66 in second place. And right now we are waiting to see, or here he comes, Charles
So we
Leclerc
are
coming into
actually
the
on lap
pits.
30. It's a very long time to be on a set of mediums. Could have been mistaken. There he is. He's in the pits. We do need to make time on him because he will not stop again.
There he is, a very quick pit stop for Charles Leclerc. And right now, all of the other cars in front of him, except for Carlos Sainz, are going to have to stop. Well, actually, Carlos Sainz also has to stop. And Charles Leclerc will rejoin the race in 8th place behind Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Again, those two will have to stop, along with Verstappen. And Sainz, I believe he still has to make his first stop. Norris, Kobayashi, Medina, all of those cars have to stop. So as we look down there with Charles Leclerc behind the two Mercedes, if the Mercedes will slow him up, it could mean better time here for the number 66. It is lap 31. I believe we may be due for our pit stop here at the end of this lap. No, it's lap 40. It's lap 40. So another 9 laps here for the 66.
Gap to your teammate behind, 3.7 seconds.
From the T-cam of the number 66, again another very good view of this very well detailed track here in Singapore. Again, this is the site of the first night race, and you can see here how well lit the track is. And the races here in Singapore are always very successful as far as crowd size. There have been very rainy race sessions in the past, but right now we are under partly cloudy skies with mild temperatures in the upper 70s.
Taking care of them.
I believe we are looking on here onto Kamui Kobayashi from one of the other cars coming out of 12. Going through 13 here, another very good view of how complex that turn is.
Understeering through there quite a lot.
Turns 1, 2, and 3, and you are going to have to want to touch onto each curb in order to make the fastest line through there. Turn 5. No DRS
5 seconds
here.
Now to Kamui in second place.
So from the lead with the number 66, we are now watching Charles Leclerc further back in the field. If he gets within 18 or 20 seconds of the number 66 here, it's very possible that once we come into the pits that he will take the lead from Mars Medina and Driving Immersion. Currently the team enjoys a 1-2 here at Singapore.
So we are trying to make up time so that we can come out ahead of Leclerc. Again, he is on a 1-stop. We are going to need at least 22, 23 seconds, I figure. And I actually don't know where he is right now. I just know that Hamilton in 5th place is 18 seconds back.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by...
But he will have to come in again.
7 seconds.
So we are not worried about Hamilton.
Once again, from the cockpit, you can't see how far back Charles Leclerc is. But the timing between him and the driving immersion here is the critical timing. Every car between driving immersion number 66 here and Charles Leclerc are going to have to stop once again. Charles Leclerc finished with his pit stops. So if he has very good time for the rest of the race coming around lap after lap, it's very possible that he can regain the lead position here in the race and win. So if the number 66 had a very good pit stop on the first round, he will definitely need a very good pit stop on the second round. And we're going to find out here in about 4 or 5 laps.
No worries about fuel.
Probably the worst feeling behind the wheel is to have to worry about fuel when you are racing very close here and having to make up time. Here is Charles Leclerc. He is still stuck behind the 2 Mercedes. And if he doesn't find a way to get around these 2, he's definitely going to be losing time to the 66. Very critical here now for him to get around. He does have the DRS. And coming in, you can see that he has not made it around. Again, it will be critical for him. This is turn 11, turn 12.
Very clear track ahead and behind. Six seconds now to Kamui.
So right now, as we are coming into 10, 11, and 12, we are just that much further away from Kamui Kobayashi.
Nice clear night here in Singapore.
So he is fading back for some reason or another. Again, the strategy here is to put in very good consistent laps. No need to go for the fastest lap. So much nicer to go around and circle the track here now that it was reduced by the 4 turns. There are a few stretches when you can actually let the car stretch out. But again, when we had to go under the bridge there, it was very slow and very tight. And it did take up a lot of time. I believe we saved at least 5 seconds in the lap time just to go around. Now we do have the HUD up showing the tire wear and the vehicle wear as well. You can see there that the rear tires are about 12%. The front tires are about 5%. So very good.
Close.
Showing very good wear here on tires. It is a counterclockwise track, so you can see there the front right is more worn than the left. Lap 38 now of 62. The number 66 here, along with the number of cars that are following him, will have to stop once again. And there is the pit lane there to the left as we cross the start-finish line to start lap 39. Now we're actually starting lap 40, as we have done 39 laps there according to the timing. But a lot of times you'll just presume that we are on lap 39 as it shows in the timing. So I believe that high-up camera may be from one of the structures here in Singapore. I don't believe that a crane is that tall, and obviously here in the cityscape, you wouldn't have a helicopter going around shooting video of the race. And we are having an eye out here for the number 66, as we do expect him to come in and change out of his second set of mediums for the race. He will have to go on to a different compound, which are going to be the hard tires. Lap 40 now, and we should be coming in. And by now, Mars Medina would have been contacted by the pit to come in at the end of this lap. Now again, the tires have very low wear here for a set of mediums, so it's very possible that if the conditions change that we could continue on. For example, if there was a full course yellow, or if the weather conditions change, let's say rain happened on and we had to change onto a set of the intermediate or a pair of or a set of wet tires altogether, then that would cancel out the requirements for dual compounds. But here we are with the 66 into the pit lane. Mars Medina at the end of lap 40, coming in to change out of this set of mediums.
There's Verstappen, I believe. Yep.
So from the car, we saw that Max Verstappen also came in. And now Lando Norris There we are. We see the two cars following the 66 out of the pits. There is Yuki Tsunoda once again in the Red Bull coming around. Nope, that is one of the McLarens. That is...
Came out ahead of
Piastri. Also on a different strategy.
Leclerc is ahead by 9 seconds. Oh my god. That is quite a lot.
So that is how the strategy shakes out.
We're gonna need at least 3/4 of a second on each lap.
So Charles Leclerc, as a result of only doing one stop for the race, is ahead by more than 9 seconds. And right now, that is the car that we are racing with for the win of this race. Up ahead, George Russell is going to have to stop. Kamui Kobayashi is going to have to stop. Both of those cars are going to have to put on a different compound. There we are. George Russell into the pits. And he is actually on a set of hard tires right now. Let's see what he puts on. It looks like Kamui is also coming into the pits. There he is. And it looks like Kamui is on a set of hard tires. Here is our teammate exiting out. He is going to be just ahead of Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. That is Ocon in the Alpine just behind him. Now the race is still up ahead. Right now we have reduced the 9-second deficit to 8. And both Charles Leclerc and Mars Medina here on a set of hard tires to complete the race. However, his tires will be about 9 laps older. And for a set of hard tires, that should not make too much of a difference here to complete the remaining laps in the race. So we are going to have to put in again more consistent and fast laps out of the 66 in order to catch Charles Leclerc. We're watching the number 66 of Mars Medina Driving Immersion circle the track here at Singapore. Right now at a deficit behind Charles Leclerc as a result of a 2-stop strategy. Charles Leclerc only having 1 stop. And that is going to keep him in the lead for now.
It is a race to the finish with Charles Leclerc.
We do see a Ferrari behind the number 66 here, and that is the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, also on a 1-stop along with his teammate, but right now he has ended up behind the number 66. He should also have a set of the hard tires at this point. There is the leaderboard, and it shows the timing, indicates we are 8.2 seconds behind Charles Leclerc. We are continuing to reduce the time, however, It is still quite a lot, and at this point down the long straight here, we don't see any Ferrari up ahead. The timing on the steering wheel shows that we are on a fast lap, currently 0.16 seconds faster than our fastest lap. Also indicating this is lap 44. The tire temperatures, which are reasonable here, they are 174 for the front roughly and 194 for the rear. And if you're ever doing any time trial mode, you can see that the tire temperatures are usually up to 212 degrees here, but obviously they wouldn't last as long in a full race situation.
Tire condition still looking good.
And again, that is one of the things that you have to plan for here in full simulation. I suppose you could run them at 212 if you only have a 5-lap race or maybe a 15-lap race. But here again, under full simulation, we are going to take these tires to their limits.
The gap on the car behind by 0.5 a lap.
Timing indicates on the upper left, we are now 7.7 seconds behind Charles Leclerc. We are catching him. It is lap 45 of 61. It looks like we still have plenty of time to be able to catch up, but we have to be consistent here as he is lapping just as fast as we are. Again, with so many laps left in the race, it's a matter of having a few mistakes in a few corners that is going to cost you the race. And that could be for the number 66 here or Charles Leclerc up ahead. We have seen the AI here make mistakes and obviously lose time. We have not seen anybody really crash out throughout the season, as they are obviously professional drivers. It's not as likely that they will crash out. We have seen drivers with cars that are retiring or expiring as a result of mechanical failures or perhaps even flats. Although the flat tire is not as common here, we have not had a flat whatsoever in any of our practice or qualifying or race sessions here in F124. Perhaps that is something that could be built in. Obviously, it is a variable that exists in real life. Back on board with the 66 as we are driving through turn 14. It is now lap 46 of 61. We are currently in second place. We are trying to catch up to Charles Leclerc, just 6 seconds up ahead. And right now he's got the lead as a result of pit strategy, having only one stop. The number 66 here having 2 stops.
The fastest lap of the race so far.
So a fast lap here for the number 66 obviously indicates that we are catching up, and you can see there that we are now 5.9 seconds behind Charles Leclerc.
Tires feel like they are worn, but they are not.
Okay, you're about 6 seconds away from the next car. Keep pushing and hopefully that's going to start to come down.
So again, another very positive sign here with the fast lap. about 15 laps to go. 6 seconds shouldn't be too much. Oh, very quick there. Fernando Alonso out of the race.
No full course yellow or safety car for Alonso. Wow. I'm losing a lot of time there.
Crossing the start-finish line, you can see there that we are under yellow. I believe there was a car there to the left, and it may have been Fernando Alonso. He did bow out of the race or retire, and we didn't know exactly where he was. Down through turn 7 and turn 8 once again on the curve. Now the exit out of 8 is actually wide, but it does close in very fast, so you do have to make sure that the car will turn out to the right.
Full race update. Full race update.
Now it doesn't sound like our comm is working with the pit crew.
Okay, comm is down.
Here is Charles Leclerc as he crosses the start-finish line. And I believe that is now Mars Medina in the background as he entered turn 1. And Mars Medina came in. This is 2 and 3. So the time now is very much drastically reduced. There is the Ferrari up ahead.
Car should be getting lighter and faster.
The very slow turn 13 here for Mars Medina in the 66. Again, P1 now in sight for Mars Medina, and that is going to drive him faster to catch up now to Charles Leclerc. This should be reduced to less than 5 seconds now as they cross 18 and 19. There is the difference between 1 and 2. Charles Leclerc turning left into turn 1. Now Mars Medina into turn 2 and 3.
That should be Leclerc right up there.
So timing now indicates a 3.1 second lead here for Charles Leclerc.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
And right now the 66 is catching up to Charles Leclerc as a result of very good consistent laps here on a very difficult track. Very many places to run off and hit the barrier or bounce off of the curbs. And certainly make mistakes. Again, turn 13 coming through here. we've made a couple of mistakes here, but been able to recover very well. So there is the Ferrari up ahead, and now certainly within sight. If we maintain this course, we're definitely going to catch up to him before the end of the race. So we are looking forward to a very exciting end here at Singapore. There is 1 and 2 coming in through 18 and 19 now. And once again, we are trying to get a hold of the pit crew, but right now the comm is not working for some reason. If you are ever trying to get information via the voice call to the pits, you can also use the buttons on the steering wheel to select once you have the voice command pop up. And that is what we're going to do here in just a minute as we are clearing these difficult turns. There is Charles Leclerc in P1 getting around the back marker. That looks like one of the Alpines. And hopefully it won't take us too long to get back around. You know, that is one of the Cash App Red Bulls.
Big slide there.
So there is the race between 1 and 2. Very much closer now, and we're going to be able to get around the Red Bull here with the DRS through the main straight, coming into turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. And we have now caught up to the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc.
Yellow flag.
We get a yellow flag coming out of turn 12. And there is a car parked there in the runoff. We are looking back from the rear of Charles Leclerc. That is the number 66 of Mars Medina in the driving immersion.
And that is for the lead.
We are wheel to wheel, coming out of 16 and 17. And right now we have gotten around, by the time we get to 18 and 19, down the main straight to cross the start-finish line. The number 66 is now back in the lead. And again, both the 66 here and the Ferrari are on the same compound tires, but the Ferrari is about 9 laps older. And again, that shouldn't make too much of a difference here, considering when they were changed out. But right now, Charles Leclerc is not as fast around the track. And that is perhaps the reason why we did catch up to him, not necessarily due to tire wear. Here in Formula One, timing is counted on tenths or hundredths of a second. And if you watched our race at Zandvoort, you can see that the race was won in about hundredths or thousandths of a second.
Fuel information.
As it was a photo finish. So right now the comm is still not working with the pits. On board with Charles Leclerc as we come around to cross the start-finish line with the number 66 up ahead in P1. He is remaining close to the 66. Now Mars Medina hasn't had the fastest car, but fast enough. And again, if you are circling the track and committing to very good consistent laps with very few mistakes, that is where this race is going to be won. This is the slow part of the circuit. Again, very difficult to pass. Coming in through turn 10. A much tighter turn there for the Ferrari, but it just meant that a very slower exit out, and you can see here that the 66 has put about 7 or 8 car lengths in between. And right now from behind the wheel, you're going to be using your ERS very strategically, only down the straights. If the car again behind you has the DRS available, you will not be able to match their speed, and the only way to do that would be to use your ERS if you have energy left available. And in the setup for the race, you can change the amount of recharging that is done by the vehicle when you lift off the throttle. I think the most that we've ever used is probably 60%, and I think that is true here for Singapore. So our ERS does recharge fairly quickly.
Very difficult part here. I think I may have 1% correct run through there.
Yes, so maybe 1% of the time we have done turn 13 correctly. And again, it is very complicated as we are having to slow the vehicle by quite a lot, and just before you turn left, you're actually turning to the right. So there is a little time that is required for the car to balance back onto its four wheels. If you don't do that and you turn left right away into turn 13, you'll definitely spin out or understeer and hit the wall. A little wide there for the number 66 coming into turn 3, and you can see a little bit that we had a lot of understeer for a very brief moment, and that did slow us down. But coming down here onto a long straight on a DRS zone, the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc is now coming under attack by Lando Norris in the McLaren. So as we get closer to the end of the race, the tires on the Ferrari are going to get closer to expiration or wear, and that is possibly why he is fading back just a little bit, but more importantly falling into the hands here of Lando Norris, which is on a set of tires that are as new as the 66 here in the lead.
Full race update.
You're in first position, front of the pack. Leclerc behind. Okay, the gap is less than a second. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. That was our last stop. No more schedule.
So again, the comm to the pit crew is back to work. And as with any full-length race here, it's not just about going fast. It's certainly a lot of pit strategy and then a lot of driving to maintain and preserve the car and the tires. Sometimes it's a matter of preserving the fuel if you start on a very low fuel load. And there were a couple of races earlier in the season there where we did start off with a low fuel load, again with the recommendations from the practice program, but there were probably 5 or 6 laps in each of those races that we had to basically lift and coast or throttle down or upshift early and conserve fuel. Right now we are starting off in the last 4 races with the recommended amount of fuel, which is usually more than what we need. And you can see here that we have 2.6 laps left of extra fuel on lap 57. Obviously, we are not going to run out before the end of the race, and actually we are able to drive the car very hard and very fast here if we were racing very close to anyone. The car behind us is about a half a second behind, and even if we had a low amount of fuel, we wouldn't have to lose our place in order to conserve. But if it's still early in the race, Charles Leclerc would certainly be passing us before the end. We are watching Lando Norris now to see if he'll be able to get around Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. All 3 cars here are on a set of hard tires. The red Ferrari in the middle, his tires are much older. There is Max Verstappen in 4th place, 2.5 seconds behind. Lap 58 of 62, we are nearing the end of the race.
That was very slow.
Charles Leclerc remains in 2nd place, with Lando Norris very close behind and
Tire
showing
condition.
a challenge.
Okay, there's enough fuel to do 6 more laps.
There we are, certainly more than enough fuel to finish the race.
Tire status.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
And again, Calm to the Pits is now working. So for the 66 here, as we close to the end of the race, the strategy has been to maintain very good consistent laps, and we can see here that it did amount to a lead over the Ferrari here, which only did 1 stop. Certainly another approach to a win here at Singapore, but for now the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc has lost out. And the 66 of Mars Medina, as we look back at the Ferrari, is ahead. Still very close in front.
I won't have 3 seconds on them.
Now that is a comment from the driver. We have...
I might need 3 seconds just in case one of the track limits penalties comes through.
We have had a few track limits
Can't remember if I had any.
come up on the screen.
I did have a few warnings.
So right there we got to see that we were trying to communicate with the pits to see if we can see if there are any penalties on the number 66 here. There are none showing on the leaderboard when it is visible. And right now, usually a track limits penalty is 3 seconds, maybe 5, depending on the track. And looking back at the field, we do have a lead over the Ferrari and the McLaren here, even the Red Bull. But if it was a matter of a 3-second or even a 5-second penalty, we would definitely lose the lead of the race, if not a podium. And having had a quick look back, we can see that Lando Norris has gotten around the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc as we come out of 13.
That was close. I have understeered through there for most of the race. Maybe I'm just not braking soon enough.
So with only 21 laps on this set of the hard tires, they should still be at the peak of their performance. And we should not be experiencing any decline in their grip. And any fault on the track right now is going to be due to driver error. On the penultimate lap, we are looking at the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, sandwiched in between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, both cars having newer tires than Charles Leclerc. But one of these guys is not going to be able to stand on the podium. Here we are, final lap of the race here at Singapore. We are 1.8 seconds ahead of Lando Norris now, 2 seconds, so he will not have DRS available to him unless he can catch up. And it's certainly not going to happen here into the first DRS zone coming out of turn 5.
Lando has gotten around Leclerc.
Carefully now through turn 10, 11, 12, and 13. Again, make sure that you don't wash out to the right side and hit the barrier. But it looks like we have plenty of time now to be able to put together a very careful lap to finish the race. There will be a DRS zone here, but again, Lando Norris not close enough to take advantage of it. There he is, and you can see that the Ferrari is much further back. There is turn 19 and the finish line.
Yes, guys, yes! Come on, boys!
So a win for the number 66.
Oh, fantastic drive! That's just fantastic! Amazing! You deserve
Okay, so we did get first. We did not have any track penalties. I thought we had one.
So no 3-second time penalty here for the number 66. Again, that is a win. We are going to be turning up the difficulty once again. Looking forward to the next race.
That's 2 race wins in a row for them. I think they'll be really happy with that. I mean, 1 race win is great, but to have 2, you know that you've got it. You're a little bit more comfortable in your skin. This is a great sign of maybe
There is Mars Medina, and that is going to award him the top step on the podium.
Show-stopping performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
So there we have it. The Driving Immersion Team in first place, with McLaren in second and Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari in third place. With abundant champagne going around.
And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back.
We thank you for watching this race event at Driving Immersion, and remember, for more exciting racing ahead, give us a like and click on subscribe or follow so that you don't miss out on the next race event. We'll see you next time.